Hi everybody, I recently had somebody ask me to demonstrate how I like to cut my pineapples. Being a world traveler, I've learned this technique while I was in Hawaii for a few years, and they saw how I did it, and the person just couldn't remember exactly the details and wanted me to walk them through it. So this is just a simple pineapple I picked up at my local grocery store. The ones you get from Hawaii are usually a little bit bigger. They're much more tasty. So let's start. You rip off the top, basically just give it a little twist like that. And if you're really patient, you can put this in water and it'll grow some roots. And then after it starts to root, you can put it in a pot. And then 2 to 3 years later, you can grow your own pineapple, provided that you keep it nice and warm because it doesn't like cold weather. Okay. So then what we're left with is a pineapple that looks something like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into quarters. Okay. Now I have just a steak knife. I like one with a little serrated edge, kind of a stiff blade. If you go to an actual place where they market pineapples for selling it, they'll sell you a knife that's real flexible. To get the pineapple open, you still have to use a kind of a stiff knife to get into it, to quarter it. All right, so I just like to go down like so. It's very, very simple. Okay, so now I've got left half of a pineapple. So we're just going to set the half to the side because this is a repetitive type process. So now we're going to take the half and we're going to make it into quarters, right? Fours, being from the original. So now we're left with 2 pieces. Okay, so I'm going to pick this one just because I feel like it. So this process just repeats and repeats and repeats. So now if you notice, the nice meat is right through here, but this area right through here is not very nice. Okay, so but first off, I'm going to take and just trim it off the husk. Right? So how I'm going to do that is just cut down through it like so. And then I'm going to take the knife and I'm going to go about halfway through. You don't really want to go through the outer core. Okay, then we're going to come over here, do the same thing. And people that I know that see this done, they call this making boats out of them. And you'll see a little bit later why. And this is if you have the specialty knife. It flexes really nicely to get in and get the husk off. I have one. I'm not using it. I don't remember where I put it. So I'm going to just set this piece to the side. Don't throw it out. You want this for later. Okay? So now you're left with a piece like this. This is all the good pineapple that you want, except this center area right through here. We want to trim that off. And actually, you can see right there, that's all like a rind type thing. Okay? So I'm going to just take, I'm going to go back to my sturdy knife. And get rid of that. Looks like I left a little bit on. That stuff is just, it's all fiber. It doesn't taste very good. So now you're left with this nice little bit of meat. And then what you want to do is you want to rinse it. I'm going to set my stuff to the side. Just plain water. Okay. You can run it under the faucet. You can dip it in like this. But there's an acid on that. And by dipping it in water, it rinses that off. Okay. So now we're going to go back to our boat, our hull. Okay, what I like to do, put it back on there. It looks like I got it upside down. Doesn't really matter. Now I like to take and cut it like so. And then I make little pieces out of it like this. Okay. Now what this does is it allows you a serving container, and you now have turned this into something that you can just grab with, say, toothpicks, fingers, etc. Okay, so a little presentation. Move to a prettier plate. Put it back on there. You can kind of pop these like so. Okay. And then you have a nice little bite-sized piece. Now, if you get somebody that doesn't get the core out, whenever you have a bite like that, it's gritty. You can taste it. It's like chewing really hard. Pineapple should not be chewy. It should be nice and soft, especially if it's fresh. All right. This is not a very big pineapple, but where I'm at right now, pineapple is a luxury. We don't get it very often. So once again, set my boat to the side. Depending on how you cut it into fours originally, may vary as to how much rind you have to cut off that center area. Okay. So this one, I'm not going to cut it in the middle. I'm just going to leave them as longer serving pieces. Neighbor's dog's barking. And just like that, within 5 minutes, using just 2 steak knives, I've cut up half of a pineapple into bite-sized serving pieces. So, alright, there you go. That's all there is to it. You repeat with the remaining material. Enjoy!